Flat Earth is really easy, you guys. You just have to imagine the Earth and the amount of space that's on the Earth's surface. Okay, now imagine this. Imagine the globe Earth, okay? And the latitude lines are supposed to be circles, right? So if you're at the North Pole and you made a circle, that'd be the first circle or whatever. And they get bigger, as you move out from the North Pole, as you move south. On a globe, you can picture this. They get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And they're just so fucking big, and then you reach the equator. And that's as big of a circle as you're going to make on the Earth. All right? And you've made it halfway across the Earth. So you got half the Earth, on one side of that circle and half the Earth on the other side of it. All right, just bear with me here. The biggest circle you can make on the face of the Earth is circling half the Earth. Okay, now the circles have to start getting smaller. And because of gravity, we're like held to the outside of this ball. So it's just like it's everywhere you go, you're on the top of the ball. So it doesn't really ever seem like you're on a ball, It's so big. It doesn't ever seem like you're walking around the side of a ball. Like we're almost to the equator, like you're always just going to be like walking like you would be anywhere, making a circle. I like the circles because we're talking about spheres here, and we're also talking about the Earth's surface, which would otherwise just be a two-dimensional plane, just like a flat Earth, right? Because that's how we experience Earth. But like we're supposed to believe that the Earth's surface forms a 3D shape. So it's good to think about these circles. It helps you understand what we're dealing with here. Nobody really thinks of the Earth as being a globe when it comes down to it. Cause I like using the idea of like building an empire. Like if you went out and you bought, I guess it would help if you just went and bought the North Pole, but like I don't think that's something you could go do. But it's just like if you just bought a circular piece of property anywhere on a globe, technically, just buy a circular piece of property, put a castle in the middle. We're going to build an empire. And then we're just going to spread out evenly in every direction. So our castle will always be right in the middle of our empire. Our property will start increasing, going every direction. It's going to be a circle. So we'll just be right in the middle of it. While our circular piece of property expands evenly in every direction. We'll have more and more land. We'll always be right in the middle of it with our castle, and we're just building an empire. It would take forever. And you're just like, we're going to own the whole world someday. We're just going to expand until we consume the whole world within our perimeter. Now, that perimeter gets really fucking big after a while, and it's going through different countries, parts of oceans, and because we just kept it a perfect circle, And so the people that are out there making these circles, they have to go take data, and it's like, because it's getting so fucking vast, and the castle's right in the middle, and the circle is expanding. You got all your guys out there, taking data. We're going through, Taiwan, and we're like, we're just all these different places around the world, And you just got to keep this in your mind, like what it would really be like if you were doing it in real life. Don't just imagine the globe floating in space and like, okay, we're just going around the side of the ball. Just imagine how it would be in real life, because you never really experienced the globe, Technically, you don't ever really like feel like you're on a ball or like you're walking around the side of a ball. No, just get that out of your mind. Think about how it would be in real life. Okay, this is a real life thought exercise. It's taking place in real life. So wherever you were, you started off with a circular piece of property with your castle right in the middle, and it's expanding evenly in every direction. You got your guys out there making these circles, and just buying land. And you're going through different countries now and different parts of different states and come all the way back around, and you take the data. The castle's right in the middle of the circle. And it gets so big after a while, it's like they don't even feel like they're traveling in a circle, obviously. They just feel like they're going in a straight line. Because the circle's so fucking big, they don't even notice that they're curving in a circle at all. But they always come back to where they started. And they remember back when they first started, they could see the whole circle with the castle right in the middle. But now they're just walking in a straight line, and they always come back to where they started. So they know they finished their circle, but they're just taking data, all these different countries they go through, they're like, we own part of this now, we own part of that. Come all the way back around. Okay, now we have this. This is how big our circle is. They take the data for like how much property is, they're like, we own a circle this size, and it's that much property within that circle. Our castle's right in the middle, and we own this much property now. We took the data, however many miles around that circle is, and then we just figure out how many square miles are within that circle or whatever. We just know that we own everything within that circle. We're taking all the data from all the countries we go through and all the oceans and all this, because it's a perfect circle. It's just been swelling out in every direction evenly, with our castle right in the middle. And you have all your guys out there working on this for you all the time, because we're steadily expanding, and you just have a bigger and bigger crew because it's a bigger and bigger circle, and you're going through more and more places, and the data is just crazy. You gotta have, it's just like hard drives upon hard drives, because all these different places you have to go through and take property, take data for what it is that you're buying, because you're spreading out across the world, and it's a big job, and your guys are out there, and they know, your lead guys come back to you, they're like, yeah, the circle is this many miles around, we bought that much more land, because last year it was this many miles around, but now this year it's this many more miles around. We have all that much more land within our property. Yeah, that's cool. And you just keep doing this for like generations, spreading out. There's no point in time during this exercise that any of your guys would ever come back to you and be like, hey boss, how come we keep buying more land and the property line keeps getting bigger? Shouldn't it be getting smaller? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? How's it going to get smaller? We're adding more land. I mean, yeah, I know our property line is like fucking, it's like 50,000 miles in circumference right now. That's crazy. And we have all this land, wait, boss, how is it 50,000 miles in circumference? It's a perfect circle. Remember, we kept it a perfect circle. We had our castle right in the middle. Yeah, but the biggest circle you can make on the globe Earth is only 25,000 miles around. How come our circles aren't getting smaller, boss? What the fuck are you talking about, boy? Why would they get smaller? We're buying more property. What the fuck are you talking about? How are you going to get smaller circles? We just been expanding this whole time. That's what we're just going to keep doing, boy. We're not going to get smaller circles. What the fuck are you talking about? Globe Earth? Get out of here, man. The fuck? Smaller circles? What the fuck's he talking about? No, dude, we just keep buying more property. How are we going to put a smaller circle around the property that we had last time? All that property's still there. It's not going to shrink so you can put a smaller circle around it now. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what would have to happen if that was true? What would have to happen is that straight line you've been making for all this time, it seems like a straight line, but it's a circle because you always come back to where you started. And we started off and it was a circle with my castle right in the middle. If the Earth was a globe, you know what you would have to start seeing after a while? You'd have to start seeing that straight line start to curve a little bit, but the other direction. Because before, the castle was right in the middle. You were going this way, so you're always turning to the left as you made your circles. But after a while, it just seemed like a straight line because the circle was so big. But then after a long time, you would have to start seeing that line. For one thing, the circle, the measurement would decrease at some point. You'd be like, what the fuck's going on? Why is the measurement getting smaller? How's that happening? And you would just shrug it off to air, but then you would notice that it's decreasing consistently every time now. And so you're like, there's something really fucked up going on here. This can't be happening. Because you're still gaining property, but somehow you're getting a smaller perimeter around it, right? You'd be like, there's something really fucked up going on here, man. There's something really fucked up going on here. But you just see that it keeps decreasing. And you're like, what? How is this happening? It can't be a mistake. This is just, we've been doing the same this whole time. We've been going around. Our guys are good at taking the measurements, but it's consistently shrinking now. How the fuck is that happening? We're adding more property, but we're getting a smaller property line. Boss, what the fuck's going on? I don't know. But we're just going to have to do some weird tricky math or whatever to figure, because it's not, because before we were just taking the measurement and then adding up all the property within that measurement, just doing the math. It's like, okay, our circle is 50,000 miles circumference, and they do all the math, whatever, math. But now it's like we're getting a smaller measurement, but we just added a bunch more property. So we're like, well, how are we doing the math now? It's fucking our heads up. But then here's what starts happening. Now we're noticing it's not a straight line anymore. Now it's starting to curve to the right. And so now it's shrinking every time consistently, and now it's even more of a noticeable curve to the right. It's an obvious curve to the right. And we've just been trying to go straight this whole time because we just figured we were just walking in a straight line. But now this, it seems like we're curving again. I don't know. We're not trying to curve, but we're curving, and we're curving to the right. We were circling our property before, but now I think we're circling property that we don't own. I know that sounds fucked up, but just humor me. I think we live on a ball. No. Well, just trust me, man, because we're going to keep going here. Trust me. You know what's going to happen? We're going to start making an obvious circle. And it's going to be obvious after a while, but it's not going to be circling our castle anymore. No, man. Nope. It's going to be circling the property that we haven't acquired yet. We went from circling our fucking castle to circling property that we don't own. We're curving the other direction. We've been in denial this whole time. We obviously know we have a smaller perimeter now. We've been doing all this tricky math. It doesn't make any sense. And now we're circling property that we don't own versus circling the castle in the beginning. Our circles are getting smaller. It's fucked up. It doesn't make any sense. I know. But check it out. The only explanation for this, because look, once we buy the rest of this property that's left here within this circle, there's nowhere else to go. That's it. So the Earth has to be a globe. There's no other way to explain that. It's because there's nowhere else to go. The thing is, nobody's ever done that. There's no north-south circumnavigation. Look at the flight routes. Look at this. Look at the satellite orbits. Sometimes they'll tell you to do a north. Well, it's just easier because of the Earth's spinning and blah, 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 blah. But the fact is, there's no north-south circumnavigation. It's not a thing. See, flat earthers aren't crazy. I mean, it's just that there's certain things that would have to have been done in order for us to know that the Earth is a globe. And they haven't been done. Just think about it. Cheers.